CSR and IAHR for bringing us together. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. After two very great presentations, I hope you will enjoy mine also. I am a Vedic scholar. I mostly do self-study and I am not associated with any university or anything. So I have a different perspective on things. By profession, I am an engineer, BTech from IIT Kanpur. So again, I have a scientific approach to things which is normally not present in such subjects. So I changed to this field around 20 years back, and I have been doing studies of this. Indian philosophy is what really attracts me, particularly spirituality. So today I am going to talk to you about Sankhyadarshana. Sankhyadarshana is one of the 6 ancient systems of philosophy which are there. It is most well known for the conversion of primordial matter into the forms that we see in the world today. But it is not only that, actually, it covers a whole range of subjects. In particular, it is a very, very logical text which logically approaches why there should be a God, why there should be a soul, why there should be many souls, and why we see these 5 elements and how did they originate. So it's a most interesting darshan actually. So the topic I am going to cover today is Sankhyadarshana, really atheistic. So if any of you are familiar with it, Sankhyadarshana today is seen as an atheistic text which says that God does not exist. There are only 2 principles, Purusha, that is the soul, and Prakriti, that is matter. And it is said to not, it says that God does not exist. Kapila is the one who actually wrote Sankhyadarshana. But what is being studied today is Ishvara Krishna's Sankhyakarika, which is around 350 CE. And then there is a Sankhya Sutra text, which is again a commentary on Kapila's Sutras, which is 14th century CE. Now, Ishvara Krishna's Sankhyakarika actually covers only a few of the sutras. They do not give a commentary of all the sutras of Kapil. It is a selective commentary, and it does not cover the subject of God. Sankhya Sutra, that is kind of a commentary on Sankhyakarika itself, and again does not cover all the sutras, and it says that God does not exist. From there, in fact, this whole series has started, and people have started saying that this is an atheistic text. So the main bone of contention is this sutra, Ishvara Siddhe, which seems to be saying God, which says God being unproven. So that is interpreted as Kapila is saying that since God is unproven, he does not exist. So we shall be discussing that, and I will show you. What I want to tell you is that I have studied Kapila's Sutras directly, and which is not being done today. In fact, it is very sad if you go to the Wikipedia page itself. Kapila's Sutras are not mentioned. Ishvara Krishna's Sankhyakarika is mentioned. Sankhya Sutra is mentioned. Everybody is studying those, and they are presuming that that is Kapila's philosophy, which is not correct. So I would like to take you through Kapila's Sutras to see what he says. So, this is a Sutratmaka text, an aphoristic text. So very, very short sentences are there, and you have to take the context into consideration. The sutra borrows words from before and after. So this sutra, Ishvara Siddhe, comes in the context of pramanas. So the pratyaksha pramana is being covered in this part of the text. And the first sutra says that that which, on being directly connected with the sensory object, generates knowledge representing that object, is called pratyaksha pramana. This, I guess, most of you are familiar with, so I will not elaborate. Next sutra, which Kapila says, is actually most interesting. It says that because of the non-external, that is non-sensory, direct witnessing by yogins, there is no flaw in accepting their perception of non-sensory objects like the soul and subtler forms of Prakriti. This is not part of the written directly in the Sutra, as Pratyaksha Praman. This is actually a most radical declaration, because he has brought things which are non-sensory into the ambit of Pratyaksha Praman. In Indian philosophy, while nobody else has ever said that the yogi's perception is Pratyaksha, it is actually taken to be such. So if you read Patanjali's Yogadarshana, he tells in the cities that the yogis see the future and the past, and it is seen as something which is correct. However, Kapila is the one who has said it in black and white, that because yogis see it with an internal eye by the soul, that is also correct. So this third sutra is that or because of very close contact with the sensory objects, that is no longer available also, there is no flaw in accepting the yogi's perception as Pratyaksha Praman. So while the previous one was talking of something which exists in the present, this is telling us about something which has disappeared, which has gone into the past. So the yogi is able to transcend space and time and is able to read that which happened in the past, and also they are supposed to be able to perceive a little bit into the future, as Patanjali has said in the Yoga Darshana. So that is also being considered by Kapila as Pratyaksha Praman. And now we come to the offending sutra, which is Ishvara Siddhe. So now if you don't take it in the context, it is typically read outside this whole context of Pratyaksha Praman. And so the words which are construed, that is Adyahara we call it, it becomes, the words which are construed is Sa na vidyate. That is, God does not exist. So because he cannot be proven, therefore God does not exist. That is the usual meaning. However, if you put it in the context of the Abhaya Pratyaksha of the yogins, then you see that actually the Anubritis should be as I have mentioned. And it's saying that if the Abhaya Pratyaksha of yogins is not accepted as a Praman, then God too cannot be proven. So the idea is that Kapila is saying that you who are debating with me believe in a God too, and so therefore we are have a common ground there. Yet if you contest my acceptance of Abhaya Pratyaksha Praman of the yogin, then we will have to give up this Pratyaksha Praman of the yogin of God, which is then we will have to say that God is not proven by any kind of Praman. Shruti Praman does exist, and that is what is taken as the Praman for God. But Pratyaksha Praman is always something which we relate to more closely. And so Kapila also wants to give us a Pratyaksha Praman for God. Another very interesting point which arises out of this Ishvara Siddhe Sutra is that Kapila is saying that God cannot be proven by sensory perception. Because what is it that you consider as Pratyaksha in the Bahya Pratyaksha is that which is sensory. But when we are saying that God is not available through sensory perception, that means it is beyond the senses. To complete this context, I also want to show you the next sutra, so that it will be easier for you to believe me for what my explanation of Ishvara Siddhe is. So the next sutra tells us that if God is not taken as proven, that is that he exists, then there be nothing other than the liberated and bound souls. The universe cannot be proven. Okay, so this is typically read as that because of the absence of anything other than liberated and bound souls, God is again not proven. Now this would be a very incorrect interpretation, because Kapila has himself accepted matter as being present. And so he should have at least, other than Mukta and Bhadra souls, he has to write matter as well as being present in the universe. He cannot suddenly get away from it. So this interpretation is not complete, and does not make good sense. What makes sense in that context is that if God is not, since only these two are capable of making the universe, you need to have some intelligence to make this universe. These two are not capable, and so we have to accept God, and He only can make this universe. Now there is actually one more section in which this is discussed, Pramana Bhavan Tat Siddhi. Due to lack of time, I will skip this for the time being. If we have some more time, I'll come back to this. These are also mixed up, but I want to give you this one first, that these are positive statements made by Kapila, not negative ones which would be sometimes read the other way. So he says, Sabhi Sarvavit Sarvakarta. Again, I don't want to read this out of context. So while this is typically read as it is, that God is omniscient, Sarvavit, and Sarvakarta, omnipotent, it actually needs to be read in the context again. So the context is of that Purushasya akaryatve api tad yogaha paravashya. That the soul, even though it is independent, it could not have linked itself to the body. There has to, it is obviously dependent on somebody else. And that something else is Sahi Sarvavit Sarvakarta. That is Sarvavit. Again, Sarvavit is not interpreted correctly according to me. This comes from two dhatus. Vit can come from two dhatus. One is with a jnani, that is omniscient, and with a satayam, that is omnipresent. So all the three properties which we are used to in God, omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, these are all covered in this sutra. And this is Kapila's declaration on what God is like. So you can see how much misconstruction is there, and even though this sutra is read, it has not been mentioned in the commentaries, and so in the commentaries you just disregard this and you move on and say that Kapila did not believe in God. Okay. So the next sutra is which follows this is also very interesting. It says Idrisheshwara Siddhi Siddha. So this whole context is actually within Kriti Krityata, which means achieving the highest goal of life. So it says that the attainment of such an all-powerful Lord by the soul yields the soul's attainment of the ultimate goal of life, that is Krita Krityata. Now, typically, till now it has been said that this means that the existence, siddhi of such an above mentioned Ishvara is confirmed. So, Idrisha Ishvara Siddhi Siddha. That such a siddhi is siddha. So, firstly, this is you can yourself see a very wrong kind of construction, that this kind of a proof is proven. That is what your literal translation would be, which is not acceptable. But, and siddhi is in masculine and siddha is in feminine, which is again grammatically incorrect in Sanskrit. So, siddha has to be taken with actually krita krityata, meaning that krita krityata is siddha, that means attainment of the goal of achieving God is attained when you see God. So in this way, I would like to conclude that sutras have been taken out of context to yield an interpretation ascribing atheism to Kapila. When sutras are read firmly within their context, we find that Kapila's philosophy is completely Nastika. Nastika meaning he believes in the Vedas and supports not only the Vedas but the kind of God described by the Vedas. So not only does he believe in the Vedas, firstly it is a contradiction in terms when you say that he believes in the Vedas and yet he does not believe in such an omnipotent God. So he does believe in an omnipotent God. It is a travesty that the study of the sutras of the original Sankhyadarshana is replaced by that of the texts of the Middle Ages and of modern times, and conclusions of the original text are made based on these commentaries that do only partial justice to Kapila's philosophy. So thank you very much.